Hey guys, it's Steve with Basketball with Steve. The New York Knicks are one of the 4 NBA super teams for the 2016-2017 NBA season. Now, before I explain why they are a super team, let me explain the other super teams. We obviously have the Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Cleveland Cavaliers as the most stacked. Now, I would have had the Miami Heat as one of those teams, you know, with D-Wade, Chris Bosh, Hassan Whiteside, Goran Dragic, and Bosh healthy. You know, they would have been one of the best teams in the East, but, you know, things went wrong. They went sour between Pat Riley and Dwyane Wade, and for some reason, Dwyane Wade went to Chicago. I understand why, but, I mean, like, you know, your legacy's in Miami, and I really thought he would be one of those once-in-a-generation superstars that stay with one team their entire career, like Michael Jordan, well, not really Michael Jordan, but like Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, you know what I mean? I thought he was going to be one of those type of players, you know, where he stood in Miami the entirety of his career. Tragically, it didn't happen, but anyway, the Golden State Warriors, I think, in terms of a roster, they're hands down the best team in the NBA. I mean, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Festus Ezeli, JaVale McGee, who else do they have? Andre Iguodala. They also have some other good pickups too for role players, and I mean, just an incredible team. Rotation-wise, the team is stacked. I mean, in terms of rotations, that's like probably the best team ever, because there's never going to be one point in time where Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry are off the floor at the same time. You know, which is ridiculous. Which means 24/7, 365. You know, I get it, 365. You know that song, but 24/7, 365. Stephen Curry or Kevin Durant is going to be on the floor. And that's ridiculous, which means defending teams are going to have problems, because there's going to be no time where they can ever, if they ever go down by 5 or 10, it's over. Because with Curry in the game, he hits a 3, he's going to keep exploding and hitting more threes. Kevin Durant in the game, he's going to catch fire. It doesn't matter, you know, and there's never going to be one point where they're both off the court at the same time, unless they're winning by like a huge number in the fourth quarter, which is going to happen a lot. But I'm talking about like in games, like competitive games, there's never going to be one point where both of them are off the floor. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green is the same thing. And, you know, it's just ridiculous. A completely stacked team. Probably going to be one of the best teams in NBA history. I mean, that team was already great. Now they have Kevin Durant. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they're not as good as they were last year in terms of a roster and in terms of rotation, because they lost, you know, Delly, they lost Timofey Mozgov, and Dellavedova is extremely important for Kyrie Irving. You know, just helping Kyrie Irving out, allowing Kyrie to rest. And now Kyrie's going to have to play more minutes, and they're going to have to get, I know they still have Mo Williams, but they need another great defending point guard, and that was what Dellavedova was. He was one of those pesky, annoying defenders. Like, you ever play against that type of player, it's really annoying to play against. And, you know, J.R. Smith is no guarantee he's signing. He's been offered by numerous teams. He may retire. He may go back to Cleveland. No one knows what he's doing. Just weird. I don't know why he didn't just re-sign automatically with Cleveland, but I mean, LeBron, Kevin Love, Kyrie, that's already stacked. And whatever team LeBron is on, they're going to be a championship contender. However, with Kyrie entering his prime, and with Kevin Love, you know, hopefully he doesn't have as much bad luck as he did last year in terms of the playoffs with the concussion and things like that. And then the year before, he had the arm injury. Just he had bad luck so far in Cleveland. However, he's still a champion now. But Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson's playing another year now. So they still have good role players, but, you know, they're not as good as they were last year without Dellavedova and Timofey Mozgov. However, with LeBron on the team, it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be stupid or silly or anything, but it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? The San Antonio Spurs, incredible roster. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Danny Green. Danny Green actually used to play with LeBron in Cleveland, but Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, who's also one of the best players in the world right now, Pau Gasol, who's one of the best big men in NBA history, one of the best players ever, LaMarcus Aldridge. I said Manu, right? And then they have all these role players, you know, just an incredible team. You know, they're just going to do what the Spurs normally do. So, let's go on to my New York Knicks. Now, just in terms of the main core, we have Derrick Rose, Courtney Lee, Carmelo Anthony, Kristaps Porziņģis, and Joakim Noah as our starting lineup. Now, the thing with this is there will never be a time where both Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony are off the floor at the same time, or Kristaps Porziņģis. Any of those three, at least one of them is going to be in the game at all times. So there's never going to be one point where all three of the big three is going to be out of the game. And, you know, with that in mind, you know, it's just going to be so hard to defend such a tough team. Like last year, the Knicks weren't bad because of defense. They were actually a pretty good defensive team. They were above average. I'm not saying they were top 5 in defense. I think they were like 12th in the NBA in defense, you know, which is pretty good. It's offense where they struggled. They were like 27th in offense, you know, offensive rating. Like I think like their offense was terrible last season. It was just Melo and that's it, you know. And Porziņģis sometimes he's a little inconsistent, but that was it. You know, so now that they not only just have Melo and Porziņģis, and plus Porziņģis is going to average even more points because, you know, he's continuing to develop and he's working on his game, but they have Derrick Rose who's going to bring in 16.5 points per game, maybe even more. And you think that's good? Like, we also have some really good role players like Brandon Jennings. Well, before I get to that, let me talk about Courtney Lee and Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah is a great defender, great scorer. He's not a dominant scorer, but he can score the basketball, probably around 10 points per game. But he's a great defender. He can run the floor. He's an athletic big man. We have Courtney Lee, who's a great perimeter defender, great wing defender. We have a backup small forward in Justin Holiday and Lance Thomas. Justin Holiday is a great defender. Lance Thomas is a great scorer for a role player coming off the bench. It's really, really good. We have Hernan Gomez, Kuzminka. I don't even know how to say his name. I almost messed it up. It's hard to say his name. Kuzminskas. I always mess that up whenever I say that. Kuzminskas. We still have Kyle O'Quinn. Now we do have Sasha Vujacic, and you know, some players that aren't gonna play, like Kevin Serafin and players like that. But mostly, I expect just Jimmer Fredette, Kyle O'Quinn, Sasha Vujacic, Brandon Jennings, Justin Holiday. Probably Hernan Gomez will get some minutes here and there. They'll see how he does. Courtney Lee, Melo. Obviously Melo, KP, Courtney Lee, I said that, and Derrick Rose. So, you know, again, like in terms of that, they're just a great team. You know, in terms of rotation, situational rotations, Melo's not going to have to carry the load for scoring the basketball entirely because, one, Brandon Jennings is a starting point guard on any other team, which means he's going to give at least 12 to 17 points per game within that range. And then Derrick Rose from 16 to 20. Possibly slightly a little bit more, you know, and then Kristaps Porziņģis anywhere from 15 to 20. So now we're going to have 3 players besides Melo averaging almost 15 to 20 points per game. And then you have Joakim Noah helping with the rebounding and defense, you know, and now Melo can just do what he needs to do, score the basketball. You know, last season, Melo led his team in scoring, rebounding, and assists. And which is sad because he had 4 assists per game. Now, this is really important, and I want you guys to listen to this. Carmelo Anthony always plays really good with a great point guard. He played good with Chauncey Billups, hence why they made the 2009 Western Conference Finals. Why does Melo play good with dominant point guards? Because he doesn't need the ball in his hand at all times. He's not that type of player. He's an ISO player. He's like Kobe. That's why Kobe did better with Derek Fisher. Now, I know Derek Fisher was pretty much with Kobe his entire career, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Carmelo Anthony is not a bring the ball down the court. Yes, he can do that, but that's not his play style. He's a give me the ball on the wing, get out my way, I'm going to ISO, jab step, drive to the basket, or pull up from 30. That's what I do. That's what he does, you know? So, that's why he dominates with dominant point guards. And now that he has 2 good point guards on his team, and Derrick Rose and Brandon Jennings, both starting point guards, I mean, come on, man. Their scoring is going to be good, offensive rating is going to be good, and defensive rating is going to be good. They're going to be one of the best teams in the NBA, which is why the New York Knicks are an NBA super team. If you guys don't believe me, they have 3 All-Stars and 1 superstar, 1 potential All-Star. Kristaps Porziņģis, 3 All-Stars, Joakim Noah, Melo, and Derrick Rose. And then they have their superstar in, obviously, Carmelo Anthony. And depending on how Derrick Rose plays, he can still be another superstar. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's been Steve with Basketball with Steve, the New York Knicks. Knicks Nation, stand up. This is what we do. We finally have a good team for the first time since 2013. Peace.